Hello friends, welcome back.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Today
Uh,
we are here to discuss a very interesting topic and a very special start of a highly realized soul. We are going to talk about Shri Ram Krishna Paramhansa. We have Himanshu here with us today and we will be discussing his chart.
so
Himanshu,
Ram,
yes.
Ram Krishna Paramhansa is also known as Thakur, and he was the devotee of Kali. People often
Yes.
say he always talked to Ma Kali.
Yeah.
So by that only we can understand how enlightened the soul is and how
Yes.
grateful he is. So we are going to talk about we are going to discuss about what are the combinations in his chart and how each and every nakshatra plays a very important role, so we can understand how we can analyze the chart and we can decode the nakshatra theme.
Yes, exactly. So we will be like, I'll be briefly talking about, it will be somewhat biographical as well, because I'll be talking about his life events, his major turning points in life that just brought him into this enlightened state of being. So we will be side by side seeing his chart and seeing his dasha and nakshatras and everything and the planets, whatever they were, the roles that they were playing, and we will see how his story is able to unfold with the help of astrology. So let's begin.
So let me share the screen and see the horoscope which we find.
So at a very first glance, we will be able to see that his moon, sun, and everything in the first house. We see that his moon is in the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada, and his rising is Satabhishak. So I'm going to start by talking about this nakshatra, his rising nakshatra, because ultimately we see that the rising nakshatra and the moon nakshatra, also the sun nakshatra, plays a very important role in like laying down the foundation and map of our lives. So let's begin with our Satabhishak Nakshatra. We see that the dominant themes of Satabhishak Nakshatra is all about, they are very curious and uh, they're very interested into deep experiences of, they want to find out deeply about life and the experience of death. I have met many Shatabisha people in my life, and I've seen that they're always passionate in talking about death and rebirth and near death experiences. They are all about curiosity and they want to explore the side of life about death and spirituality that very few people are interested in. So we also see that Satabisha is a nakshatra of healers, and we already know that Ramakrishna Paramhansa would just heal his devotees with a touch of his hand, and they would just be cured. So we easily see how this nakshatra stream connects with it. Also, we see that they can be very innovative. They have a deep understanding of life and death. And we also see that they can oftentimes fall into suicidal tendencies. Like later, we will see how Ramakrishna wanted to end his life because his longing for getting his divine mother's presence was so much that he could not bear to continue his life without having realized his potential and merging with his mother Kali. So we see how the Satabisha theme is playing out throughout his life. And we also see that Satabisha people are very secretive in nature. They're very private. We know that Ramakrishna Paramahansa, I know that I've read from the books by Vivekananda and his followers. We see that in his ashram, he used to divide his disciples into two groups. One group he used to keep that he would share his secret meditation techniques with them, and all in privacy. He shared his meditation techniques with Vivekananda and others, whereas there was this another group that he didn't see so much spiritual potential in them, so he didn't share his secrets with those who weren't worthy of it. So he only chose to share his secrets who he thought that were worthy of it and were definitely having the potential for a realization within that lifetime. And we also know that Satabishak people characteristic to be a very good spy. I remember reading about this incident, like there were certain people that Ramakrishna forbidden Vivekananda from mixing with. But Vivekananda was a very stubborn person. He was like, he would still go and meet those people. And after meeting with them, Ramakrishna would just see Vivekananda and instantly he knew that who he just met. Like he would instantly tell, oh, you met that person, you were mixing with that person, I know very well. So of course we know that of course he was a realized being, so his intuition enabled him to understand all these things. So coming back to Satabishak Nakshatra, so we see that it's a very mystical nakshatra. And now moving on, we will be now talking about the next important nakshatra placement that we see in a horoscope, that is moon in Purva Bhadrapada. So at first glance, we know that Purva Bhadrapada is all about Kali and Mother Kali and fierce deities, worshippers. So of course, we see this strong theme throughout his life of Purva Bhadrapada. So now I'll be talking more about these nakshatras soon. So I'll be I'll just start now by talking about his major life incidents. I will just be talking about his dashas and whatever nakshatras and planets that played an important role. So I'm gonna start by talking about his first mystical experience that he went through at the age of 6 in the year 1842. He was running his Jupiter and Venus dasha during that time. And so, at first glance, when we see in his horoscope, we see that Venus is in the nakshatra of Uttara Bhadrapada. So, again, we see that Jupiter is in his fifth house in Adra Nakshatra and Venus is exalted in Pisces in Uttara Bhadrapada. So let's talk about this nakshatra. So he was just walking in this rice paddy field and there was a lot of dark cloud in the background and there were some white cranes flying in the background. So he was just so mystified and so deeply moved with that sight that he lost sight of all consciousness and he went into this supernatural state of mind. It was such a mystical experience that happened to him at the age of 6. So we are going to talk about this Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra to understand this. So Uttara Bhadrapada is of course represented by this water serpent and Kundalini. And we know that later on, Ramakrishna, he talked about, of course, he went through the Kundalini process himself and became enlightened through the process of Kundalini when the energy reached his crown chakra and beyond, and he was able to be enlightened and free from the cycle of death and life. And so we can relate how this UB Uttara Bhadrapada theme was playing a huge role. So he also talked about 5 kinds of Kundalini awakening and many other things, esoteric terminology and everything. So another main theme in Uttara Pada that I have seen again is the theme of isolation and secrecy and privacy. These people really like to practice their spiritual practices in isolation. And of course, we know that Uttara Bhadrapada is also associated with the goddess Lakshmi, and it's an intensely spiritual nakshatra. Like these people, it is said that if they want with their willpower, they can actually bring rainfall at their will. They have the power to change the weather, it is said. So again, Uttara Bhadrapada theme. And of course, the
Also,
we
uh,
already know. Yes.
adding to that, like in
Yeah.
Uttara Bhadrapada or Purva Bhadrapada,
Mm-hmm.
Thakur has both the nakshatra like Uttara and Purva. So
Yes.
the
Yeah.
energy is of
It's
like
completing the energy.
completing the
Yes.
energy. And if you see, the Bhadrapada constellation is ruled by Kali, and
Yes.
Kali is also known as Bhadra Kali.
Yeah.
The Bhadra theme is very closely related with this Ramakrishna Paramhansa, because
Yes.
like his moon is in Purva Bhadrapada. Again,
Exactly.
it's like goddess Kali is there. So if we see like Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and the constellation is also ruled by Kali. And when he died, like he chose the date which is again on the day of Bhadrapada.
Ah,
And
interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
and it's again related with Bhadrakali. And
Mm.
if you also see the trines, all the his major planets are in dharma trikon, like
Yes.
first 5 9. And when all the trines or major one planet is retro, so they are giving
Mm-hmm.
result of their 12th house, like on
Mm-hmm.
so Mercury is giving the result of the 12th house, Saturn is giving the result of 8th house, and Jupiter is giving the result of 4th house. All those
Yes.
houses are moksha trikon. So dharma and
Mm-hmm.
moksha are highly activated in because of the retro planet.
Yes.
So all the major themes in his life is related to this dharma and moksha.
Yes.
He always talk about dharma and all, and he's like whatever he do is related to moksha themes. Like, and if you also see, his Jupiter is in Ardra. Jupiter is the what we call is guru, the teacher, is in Ardra, and the
Yes.
Ardra is like, whenever he talks to Ma Kali, he always cries. And first time when
Yes.
he meet with the Kali, he was constantly
Yes. Full
crying,
of
and
tears.
yeah, and
Yes.
activating
He
the
would shout
positive,
loudly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
He would howl. Yes.
activating the positive energy of Ardra Nakshatra. On the
Yes.
top of that, if we see, I have seen many charts in which people who went away from their home, or who do meditation or the things like sannyas or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
those people have Jupiter, either major planet in Ardra or Jupiter in Ardra. And then too, like
Yeah.
I know 2 3 people who have Jupiter retro in Ardra, either in the fourth house or the fifth house. But those people are they want liberation, or they want to go away from their family because of that Ardra energy. And they do some meditation techniques or tantra mantra or some mystic things.
Yes.
They have a lot of interest in that. And if we see the like combination, like Saturn being exalted give the result of eighth house also, because it's retro.
Mm.
So
Yes.
it is very much activating the and the eighth lord is exalted in 12th house, again making a very strong combination for because 8th and 12th are very strong, we can say, like
Yes. Moksha.
moksha. So he was too much in mystic things. And the third lord, which is Mars, is exalted. So
Mm.
whatever like many sadhanas he do, many meditation techniques he do,
Or the
which are
effort, spirituality.
very
Yes.
dangerous, not
Yes. Indeed.
common
It's not
people will do
recommended for
that.
everyone. Yes.
Yeah, like Bhairavi sadhana and all.
Yeah.
So
Very
those
intense.
yeah, those sadhanas are very mystic. And we need a lot of courage for that, for doing that.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
those courage we can see from Mars got exalted, because Mars is the
Mm.
only karaka for the major karaka for our strength or our willpower.
Strength, energy, willpower. Yes.
And
So we look at his the next incident that I'm going to talk about his life is that like after that mystical experience at age 6, slowly in his neighborhood he would see that all these spiritual sadhus and all would come nearby, and he would just like he didn't really read the scriptures on his own at that time. It was actually by hearing and listening to them that he was able to come across the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. And we see that his Mars is exalted in 12th house in the nakshatra of Shravana. So we see how that nakshatra was activated, and it was just purely by listening that he was able to learn all this essence of these holy books and scriptures. And the
and
when he was Yeah.
Also, like he never talk much to Kali. Like he always listens to her, because
Yes.
many a time his disciples told him like, if you have any problem, just talk to Kali.
Talk to
You
her.
are direct,
Yeah.
yeah. But he never talk to like he never complains about that. He always
Yeah.
listens to Kali, and whatever she says, he quietly listens that. Also, if we see, her 11th lord is again Jupiter, which is retro in Adra Nakshatra, and seeing the 11th house. So, if we see, his brother is also the elder brother is also into mystic things. Also, the
Mm-hmm.
Ardra theme
Yes.
is playing a major role there.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first priest of the temple.
Yes.
So that is again also his father. If we talk about his father, his father got one shaligram, which is the form
Mm-hmm.
of Lord Rama, and they came into his dream and told about take that shaligram to home. uh, and same theme, like again the Saturn got exalted and retro. Here his brother
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter got exalted and retro.
Yeah.
Same patterns and themes. And if we see, like
Yes.
his own Mercury is retro, and with Sun and Moon in Lagna. So that is very fascinating. Like even her father, if we rotate the chart, even his father is like very spiritual, because
Yes.
he has a blessing of Rama. And if we see, like Saturn is in Swati Nakshatra, that Swati
Mm-hmm.
Nakshatra is always related to Rama, because if you see the Hanuman
Mm-hmm.
was the main devotee of Lord Rama,
Yes.
and in his whole life he just worshipped Lord Rama. Lord Hanuman worship Lord Rama, and here also the Saturn is in the Swati Nakshatra, ruled one of the deities, Pawan Deva and Hanumana, and the same theme is playing, like they have took the Lord Rama to their home in the form of Shaligram. So that is
That's fascinating.
also
Yes.
one theme. And also the depositor of Saturn got exalted, Venus, in the second house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
again, a very good theme is there. And even the Rahu Ketu, if we see, like got exalted, like Rahu feels really good in Taurus sign. So
Yes.
that is also making. And Rahu is again,
Some astrologers believe that Rahu is exalted in Taurus. Of course, it
yeah.
varies, but still.
But if you see the Saturn rules the night, and
Yes.
also rules like goddess Kali is mother of dark, like
Dark night.
night
Yes.
and all. And
Yeah.
Rahu is watching the 8th house and the 12th house also. Rahu is
Mm.
like Saturn
Yes.
only, and Rahu, and major planet is in like Satabhisha, Satabhisha. So again Rahu is playing a very
Rahu.
important role,
Yes. Yes.
very important role there. So Rahu being strong, watching the houses of moksha, will
Yeah.
create so much of positive vibration over there.
Mm. Yes.
Uh,
So we see now, moving back to this second incident. This again happened in his childhood. During his Jupiter Mars period, he started to go in severe kind of trances. Like whenever a person is able to go beyond their lower chakras and upwards, and then feel the crown chakras and beyond, then one suddenly goes into a trance, and he would just remain in trance for long periods of time. And it's very rare thing to happen, especially for just a kid of 10 years. So we see again Mars in 12th house in Shavana again was playing a huge role. Jupiter Mars period, 12th house planet. then so we see that from childhood itself how strong his spiritual inclination was. And then moving on, suddenly in Jupiter Saturn period, his ninth house planet, his father suddenly died. And then so the entire responsibility of bringing up and feeding himself and his siblings, again it just fell on him. And then slowly he accompanied his siblings, and he became assistant to a priest in 1852 when he was running his Saturn Mercury period. And then after that priest died, then he was made the head priest in 1856. This is in Saturn Venus period. So again, we see that Uttara
That
Bhadrapada theme and Venus
that
playing
that
role.
priest is
Yes.
his elder brother only. So
Yes.
yeah, so when he go to Kali, when he becomes when he become priest and he talked to Kali, he said, you just gave like vision to my brother, but you are not coming in front of me. You are not talking to me.
Yeah.
That time he came with the sword and all.
He
So
found a sword somehow, and he said, "I'm going to kill my neck if you don't come, and if you don't come to me." So now again we see that sword is also a symbol of Purva Bhadrapada again.
yeah,
So
Purva
yeah.
Bhadrapada, Ardhara, and Uttara Bhadrapada theme is
Hmm.
very much
Intense.
into in this. Also, if we see like the if we see the like as we mentioned like Bhairavi Brahmani, he did Tantra Sadhana in 1861. So
Yeah.
moon is again in Purva Bhadrapada,
Purva
and
Bhadrapada. So we see just the word Bhairavi, it can point to Adra Nakshatra, Purva Bhadrapada,
and if we
female
see
seers deities. Yes.
yeah,
It was again a Saturn moon period, so
yeah,
Purva Bhadrapada theme.
so
And we also see that he explored about 64 different branches of left-handed Tantra sadhana. So now Tantra sadhana, in brief, I can just say it can evolve. Like there are people who practice drinking alcohol, and they just see that whether they are able to be conscious or not, because we define meditation as trying to make the unconscious into conscious, which means, like Buddha also talked about, like he said that why only should I sit and meditate? I should be able to get up and walk and touch and feel my feet touch the ground and walk and still be in my meditative state. So we see in Tantra Sadhana, we actually try to bring this meditative state and see that even while, let's say, drinking alcohol or indulging in sexual activity, we try to bring that consciousness into Tantra Sadhana. So we see that there are 64 branches of Tantra Sadhana that he tried. And we also see that we know in astrology that Ketu is known as the moksha karaka. And so Ketu is in Vishaka Nakshatra, which also signifies branches. So we can relate how he tried to explore several branches of Tantra Sadhana. He explored Islamism. He also, like he prayed to God as a female. Then he also prayed to Lord Ram as like Hanumanji as a bhakta. And again, Hanumanji is avatar of Mars, and he had a vision that Ma Sita merged with him and became one with him. So we see all this exploration with his Vishaka, several branches of exploration.
and even if we see the seventh house, Jupiter being retro in Ardra,
Mhm.
and if we see his wife is also always support him in tantra, like
Yes.
in his sadhanas and all. So
His
that
wife
is
did
all.
not become an obstacle. Instead, his wife actually helped them both reach together to spiritual sadhana and all.
Yes, 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 yes. Sorry, Sun. Sun is the fifth lord, seventh lord, and Sun being seen the own house. That is one
Mhm.
important thing. And as you mentioned, like Saturn Moon period, if we see the placement of Saturn is giving the result. Saturn being the Lagna, the and that 12th lord, both are ruled by Saturn only. If we see. And
Yes.
Saturn is also giving the result of the eighth house, because it's retro.
Again,
So many,
associated with
yeah,
occult practices.
yeah.
Yes.
And again, if we see the placement of moon from its own
Mm-hmm.
house is sitting 8 to it. Again, that
Mm-hmm.
is one
Yes.
major
Again,
major
occult
theme
themes.
for
Yes.
occult and all, because either you go on like uh, let's take example of glass, like we know, we can pour pour water up to the brim, either
It can be glass half
yeah,
full or half empty.
yeah.
So with
So
eighth house, it can go either ways.
yes,
Yes.
either on the negative side or either on the
Negative side or the
positive
positive
side.
side. Yeah.
So he has played a major role in like on the positive side, like
Yes.
and again la Purva Bhadrapada and Bhairavi Sadhana,
Theme.
again
Yes.
Bhadrapada, Bhairavi and
Yeah. Yeah.
Bhadrakali. The close theme of like Mahankali is again there, because Ardra
Yeah.
is again ruled by Mahankal, and this constellation Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada is again ruled by like Kali only. It's under the
Yes.
constellation of Kali.
Mm-hmm.
So that is again one major theme there.
Yeah.
Ag- Again, if we
And then,
see, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and then I was going to talk about how in 1861 he got initiated, and then slowly after exploration of all these different tantra branches, finally in 1865, like I'll give a brief background about Totapuri. Like he was this wandering monk. He was part of this secret society of the Nagas, and we see that Ramakrishna Paramahansa's Jupiter is in Ardra, so we can closely associate Ardra qualities with his guru Totapuri. And we see like Totapuri, he was just passing through Dakshineshwar, and then suddenly he just happened to see this innocent man who was crying and worshipping Ma Kali. Then he just wait there. He just watched him quietly. Then he told him that you should, if you really want to be one with Mother Kali, then you have to try to go beyond the form of Kali and just merge with the universal super consciousness.
and
So in yes, so in like it took him about I think 3 days for him to explain to him that you must give up your attachment to the form of Mother Kali. This was very difficult for Ramakrishna because like he would do everything with the permission of Kali. Like when he said that you should leave this form, he again took permission of Mother Kali. Mother Kali, do you think it is right? So we see again how his Purva Bhadrapada theme was playing a huge role. Then
also if
finally
we see
Totapuri. Yes.
when Totapuri, like his first guru Totapuri,
Hmm.
so that is in the Saturn and Jupiter period, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Saturn being the lord of ninth,
Ninth house.
and
Yes. And
Jupiter
fifth
is
house of
ninth.
discipleship.
Yeah,
Yes.
and again Jupiter is also 9 to ninth.
Oh, yes.
And if you see both are retro, and that time when Totapuri gave him the that knowledge, he hit him with the that
Stone. Yes.
stone, not stone,
Stone.
kind
Stone.
of
Some gross object. Glass, I
glass,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
glass on the forehead
So
here.
again, we see sharp object playing a role.
Yeah, so
So
sharp object is
yeah,
there, and again like
he said
he,
that you concentrate and just try to move beyond it. And then
yes,
he asked him to visualize cutting the form of Mother Kali into two pieces, which finally, after doing that, he was able to merge with the super consciousness and be emancipated. So,
because
and
that
Totapuri
time
just
when
seeing that,
Totapuri, yeah,
Totapuri
when,
was thinking, man, I spent so many years trying to realize my full potential, and this person just in such a short duration, I was able to show him the path. And then Totapuri,
mm,
like generally, he didn't stay in a single place in for a very long time. Like he hardly stayed for 10 days in a same place. But with Parmahans, he was able to stay with him 11 months with him there. So
Yeah,
we
so
see this
Totapuri
beautiful
also said,
communion.
Totapuri
Yeah.
also said like because Thakur go into the meditation for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
3 days he was without eating and
Constantly
all.
in that
Yeah,
state of trance. Yes.
and that time he told like this is not a real man. This is some Maya of Kali.
Yeah.
Actually.
So that only. He was here to help him move beyond it and merge with the universal force.
So, and also like see, I think if we go deeper, I think Antar of Kritika will be there. Rahu will be there. So
Mm-hmm.
because he hit with that glass
Ah,
that time,
yes.
and Rahu is in the
Yes.
Kritika nakshatra.
Ninth house lord. He's the rising nakshatra lord. So
Yeah,
Rao is playing
because
a huge role. Yeah.
Yeah, because whenever Saturn got activated, Rahu, Saturn is in the nakshatra of Rahu,
Swati. Yes.
and Rahu is aspecting 8th and 12th house. So
8 and 12. Yeah.
everything is related only with the dharma trikona or the moksha trikona,
Yes.
because ultimately three planet in dharma trikon giving result of moksha trikon, that plays an
Mm-hmm.
important role in the first
Yes.
site only, and then to Rahu is aspecting the 8th and the 12th, which is the
Mm-hmm.
pure house of consciousness.
Yes.
So that is
And
also
also, I
one more.
might add that Ramakrishna Paramhansa, he was a very straightforward person. Like, he did not really beat around the bush. Whatever he wanted to explain and teach his disciples, he was just so straightforward. So, again, Kritika is coming up here.
Yeah, and again see 1881 you mentioned Jupiter Mercury Vivekananda,
Yeah, that is when finally he met his disciple Vivekananda. It was a
because
huge turning point in his life.
Jupiter is in
Yeah.
the 5th house, so
Again, in the fifth house. Yeah.
and
And
Mercury.
Mercury. And we all know that Vivekananda was a very staunch intellectual. He went to him and asked him, "Have you seen God?" Like, he used to ask everyone. And Ramakrishna Paramhansa was the only one who said that, "Yes, I have felt him. I see him just like I see you and everyone around." So, if you read this book, Swami Vivekananda on himself, you will just enjoy reading how Vivekananda for 6 years he fought with him, and eventually he had to surrender and concede that yes, God is there. So it is a beautiful companionship of them. They had
Yeah.
very strong discussions. So we see
Also,
that yeah.
also we are not taking the divisional charts as
Yes,
the
because the
different people
timing
have.
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
there is a difference of like
varies.
10 minutes, 15 minutes timing.
Hmm.
So there might
So
be
unless
possibility
it's
to change.
very
Yeah,
accurate,
because
yeah.
we talked about almost nakshatra, so they will not change in that
Hmm.
period. So that, so
Hmm.
if we see the deities of D60, so one of the major theme is because lagna will change but deities will be same, like degrees are almost same in D1 chart. So his ninth lord degree is around like ninth lord is Venus in around 9 degrees, 9 degree
Hmm.
5 minutes. So if we see that comes in Vamshakyasha Sashtiyamsha, that is again the related to dharma, and which
Hmm.
whose meaning is Veda, uh, Veda, Vedangvit, means the person who knows or related, who knows everything about
Vedanta,
Vedas,
yes.
or who practice Vedas or something related to dharma is there.
Yes,
So
and we all know that the word Vedanta refers to non-duality,
yes.
oneness of all all beings and whole universe with God itself. So
So,
you
if
can
we
see
see the
that.
major planets, they come into the Dharma Trikon or related with
Mm,
some Rahu theme is there. So, major planets are like referencing to this only. So, we just have to understand like how he always activated energy in the positive side, because being
yes.
Jupiter in Ardra. That is
Hmm.
not
Very
very,
intense placement.
yeah,
Yes.
very intense. That is very intense
Adra is a
placement.
very intense, like it can go either side. It can go haywire or it can be handled with
Yeah, but
intelligence.
he has managed it like superbly, because like he
Yes.
went into the meditation and all. And see, the
Yeah.
theme of crying, like teardrops is a symbol of Agra. He always cries
Yes.
in front
And
of
he
the
would
Mother
always
Kali.
cry. Yes.
Yeah, and doing that, he has positively activated the energy. That is one of the major theme. Like so, I think we have covered so many things
Yeah.
related
And
to
we know
like,
that after meeting Vivekananda, rest is history. And
yes.
so I was just saying that in astrology, we talk about how Mercury is an intellectual and Jupiter is the guru. He has the divine wisdom. So we see that how slowly, in a period of 6 years, slowly, like he made Vivekananda understand the essence of Vedanta, of non-duality. Like initially, when Vivekananda went to him, he actually sang a song. And again, we know that Satavisha people are lovers of music. He was just so charmed and mystified by Vivekananda's singing and his voice, and he immediately know that this is the disciple that I have been waiting for. So after he sang, he talked to him, and he told him that it is you are the avatar of Narayana. Finally you have come to me. And Vivekananda was like, is this man mad or what? And then he started feeding him with sweets and all. But Vivekananda, again, in his first impression, he saw that no, this person is very wise and honest looking. He cannot be saying anything wrong, but he is crazy. That is for sure. So he just felt like that. And then slowly, like Vivekananda would make fun of Vedanta philosophy initially. He was like, okay, so this cup is also God, and all these non living things, this is also God. What philosophy is this? So we see the theme. So, like, he used to argue constantly with Ramakrishna, and then slowly, he started giving him big doses. Like, once he touched Vivekananda's in his chest, and then he lost all his sense of identity. He didn't know, like, he saw all objects before him vanishing and disappearing and merging into the cosmos. He got so scared, and he told him that I have parents at home. What are you doing? Then Ramakrishna just laughed and he said, don't worry, it will all come to you in time. So we see how this Mercury and Jupiter played a huge role in their transformation of Vivekananda, and how he eventually helped Vivekananda reach his own potential
Also, if
through
we see
discipleship.
like Vivekananda met him in Jupiter and Mercury period. Again,
Yeah.
if we see the major themes in his life is all related to trichones, either
Yes.
moon Saturn, Saturn Jupiter, Jupiter moon, or Mercury.
Hmm.
All are
Yes.
related to trines only, the dharma
Yeah.
trines. So
Hmm.
all major events will happen. He made to Totapuri, he made to Bhairavi, he do Bhairavi
Hmm.
sadhana, and then too he met to Vivekananda. All these major events. Even if I remember, there's one guru. He went to Kashi and he met with this. There's a great rishi. His name is. He lived. I forgot his name. He lived for 286 years, 284 years. So
Hmm.
that time is again. I think it's in Jupiter, Adra theme, and he was also the devotee
Oh.
of. He was also known as like Vishwanatha, the Ardra, the
Hmm.
Bholenatha. That theme
Again.
is
Yeah.
also there. And if we see Mercury in Jupiter, Mercury is retro, and Mercury is also get the Digbala in the first house in Lagna.
First house.
Mercury always got Digbala, and Mercury is retro, giving the results of 12. So he Mercury is also the Rajkumar and also the sun,
Prince.
like Prince. So what Ramakrishna did is Ramakrishna gave his heritage to
To
Vivekananda.
Vivekananda.
So
Yes.
they have started the mission called Ramakrishna
Mission. Yeah.
mission, which is
And he
carried
was able
out.
to establish Belur Mutt
Yeah,
finally.
so that is forwarded by, like, that is taken care by Vivekananda
Taken care.
only.
Yes.
So see, like, again, we he himself, like, giving his all things to Vivekananda. So there
Yeah,
is
and I also read that
transformation.
before, just 2 or 3 days before Ramakrishna died, he called Vivekananda, and then he just closed the doors and everything, and then he just, I think he touched his hand or something, and then he closed his eyes and meditated. Then after a while, like Vivekananda also went into a trance sort of state, and then afterwards Ramakrishna started crying like anything. Then he said, that's it, Vivekananda, I've given you all my wealth, all my powers, it's yours now. So he literally transferred his powers to Vivekananda. And also, if you read his book, Vivekananda on himself, it's my favorite book. So you will see that even after his death, like when Vivekananda was going to America and all, he was always with him, like he was moving with him all the time. He was in his vision, he came to him many times. So there was this one incident, I'll be brief, that Vivekananda met one guru and he wanted to learn some Hatha Yoga because he was facing some health issues. So repeatedly, whenever he wanted to learn it, he got a vision of Ramakrishna crying and saying that you will not learn from anybody else. You are only my disciple. I'm your only guru. So after trying many times repeatedly, that vision started. He went to Vivekananda and started crying. Then Vivekananda was like, you win. You know what? I'm not going to anyone. You are my only guru. So
Yeah,
we see how he has been with him his whole life guiding.
yes, that's really fascinating. And also, like,
Yeah.
if we see, Venus got exalted in the second house, and Ardra, uh, like, he is one of the healer. Again, we know Purva
Yes.
Bhadrapada
Adra is
is
a healer.
again,
Yes.
healing
Along
traits
with
are there,
Sudarshan. Yeah.
and Ardra is
Mm.
also there. And Ardra
Yes.
comes in, like, third house, like natural third house, and that
Mm-hmm.
natural third house is again related
Hands.
to
Yes.
yeah, so
Healing.
related with hands. So I know one incident, like, when someone told him regarding, like, he's suffering from major skin disease or something like that.
Sickness. Yes.
Yeah, so he just told him, just put your
Dusting.
hands over me, and if like, I'll be get cured. So
Yes.
Paramahansa only told, like, I'll do that, but it's all in the hands of Kali. I don't like, it's
Yes.
like, if she wishes, then things will
It's all
be
her wish.
cured.
Yes.
So he has taken all the, like, his hand will be like, he was suffering from the hand pain for around, like, 2 days, and after that he told to
Mm-hmm.
Kali, please spare me, I'll not do that again.
Yes.
Because what he whenever anyone touches him, uh,
Yeah.
that
They're
time,
taking on their karma. Yes.
yeah, yeah, their karma
So
will be
whenever we
yeah,
fall sick, it is usually due to our past life karma, that is that we are paying some negative karma that we did.
yeah. So
So if one
that
person
he's
even tries to
paying
heal it,
actually
yes,
in the same
then
life.
he will be paying in their behalf. Yes.
Yeah, so major themes and major, like, if we understand the nakshatra in detail, then we will going to decode many things regarding
Yes.
that. So I think, like,
So yeah.
that's all about Thakur, the Ramakrishna Paramhansa.
Yes, I hope you all enjoyed it. And in our subsequent videos, we will also be talking about combinations that are found in spiritual charts. And we will also be talking about other spiritual gurus as well. So stay tuned and subscribe and share how you felt about this video, whatever you want to add, your observations, anything.
and we have taken this date of birth from internet only, because there are so many differences between that. So we
Yeah.
just took one prominent chart, and we
I
have
saw a
discussed
chart that Pi was using, so I thought that would be accurate.
yeah, also
So
on
we just
Astro
went
Data
with that.
Bank,
Hmm.
the
Timing is
timings
slightly
are,
different.
yeah, on
Like
AstroSage there is
Pi, the
something else.
timing that Pi has used is 6:24 Kamarpukur as location. So we just
Yeah.
went with that.
Also, I know one person who has rectified it. It's around 640 something, 640 or
Yes, because
626,
in
I think that.
Jehura it's 6:44 only, something like that in
Yeah,
Jehura.
so we have just, that is why we have talked about the major only on D1 chart, which will not change in
Hmm.
that time of frame.
So mainly that's why we talked about nakshatras because that is unchangeable.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you
guys.
everyone. Thank you.